Well, good afternoon, everyone. This is Mike Bass back again with another forecast update for you for this August 3rd, 2023. I'm hoping everybody's having a great Thursday out there so far. Hope everybody has a great Thursday afternoon. Hope everybody continues to stay safe and well and also enjoy the weather because it's the only weather you got. Okay, in today's video, we're going to talk about the satellite loop here for the tropics and also cross portion of the lower 48. Also, we're going to take a look at the weather radar across the nation. Also, take a look at the watches, warning, and advisory map for your location. Also, we're going to take a look at the Storm Prediction Center outlook for day 1, 2, and 3. And in the last one, we're going to take a look at day 4 and 5 because we got a lot of severe weather coming up over the next 5 days that you need to be prepared for. And I'll show it to you in this forecast package. Okay, if you could do me a favor, watch the entire video all the way through so you will not miss a beat of my forecast. And if you are a new viewer and have not subscribed to my channel, go ahead and subscribe to it. And you get my forecast twice per day as I continue my forecast journey to grow my forecast page on up to a large forecast channel. Okay, also like these videos, share these videos, and let's go ahead and get the show on the road here, folks. Okay, as you can see here, we got a little system here. They need to the National Hurricane Center has not marked it yet. But this little wave here looks pretty well organized. This here looks like it could become something here. We got more waves coming off the African coast, moving across the MDR region, the main development region, about this time of year now. So, and also we got high pressure pretty much controlling right above it. So that's why they really ain't nothing but these waves do look kind of, that one right there, that one looking kind of interesting, and there's another one coming off the African coast as well. This little blob of precipitation and no longer interest to the National Hurricane Center. We got a little swirl here and one little swirl there, but nothing organized at this time. We got some scattered activity down there across South America. Got one down here in the northwestern Caribbean Sea, a little wave there. And we got some little system here moving through the central portion of the United States, heading to the southeast. May bring some heavy rainfall to the area from Tennessee all the way into the Carolinas today and tonight. So would not be surprised to see some flood watches, flood advisories for some areas from Tennessee down into Georgia and the Carolinas, and maybe far north as Virginia as well this afternoon and tonight, and again early Friday as well. Scattered activity going across portions of Canada and another little system back over in the Midwest and also the upper Midwest as well. Alright, let's take a look at the weather radar across the nation here. I had to use this radar here because the other one's still kind of messed up. Excuse me, I had to get some water. Alright, there's that little system here you seen on the satellite loop extending from Tennessee into the Carolinas, also toward Virginia. Also, another little system here moving through portion of Maine, also just east of Quebec, Canada, that is. Scattered activity way into Ontario, Canada. A little scattered activity there as well. Excuse me. And also some in southeast Canada, also a little line of showers and storms there. Got a little system over here. You've seen that on the satellite loop too. Over in portion of Montana, Wyoming, also in Idaho as well, and also portion of northern Utah. Scattered activity in portion of Oregon, Nevada, and also central Utah as well. Scattered activity also in portions of New Mexico, across portions of Kansas, also into Missouri, a little bit in Nebraska and South Dakota as well. Some scattered activity also down toward the Bahamas, also down into Florida to the Florida Keys, a little bit in the Atlantic Ocean as well. As we head a little further to the south, we got some showers and storms moving through Guadalupe, Martinez, Barbados. Some showers just north of you guys. Maybe could be some more scattered showers this afternoon in that region there as well. Later on this afternoon. And we got some scattered activity over central and northwest as well. Alright, let's take a look at the watches, warning, and advisory map for your location across the nation. Alright, as you can see here, we got some flood advisory from, like I said, from portions of Tennessee down into the Carolinas. as well. Also, we got a flood watch also in effect for northern Alabama, also in portions of southern Illinois, and also western Kentucky and southwest Indiana. Also, we still got those heat advisories for Mississippi, also Alabama, Louisiana, Texas, all the way into Arkansas, also into Missouri, also into Kansas, and also into Oklahoma there as well. West Texas and southern New Mexico there also. Sets of heat warnings also in effect, same areas pretty much. Mississippi, Arkansas, northern Louisiana, much of Texas, much of Oklahoma, much of central and southeastern portions of Kansas, and southwestern portions of Missouri. Also again over here in southern California, southern Arizona as well. We got a flood watch also in effect here for portions of New Mexico, also here in North Alabama. Also we've got some flood watches, flood advisories, also flood warnings, and flash flood warnings also in effect for portions of Tennessee, also in the portions of Illinois and also Missouri. Also this afternoon, river flood warning still continues there in portions of South Dakota. Flood watch is also in effect here for portions of South Dakota, Montana, also into portions of Wyoming, and also eastern portions of Idaho, and also northern Utah as well. Hydro issues also in effect for portions of Wyoming. Air quality alert for portions of Colorado and also Montana. And also we got some red flag warnings in effect for portions of Idaho and Oregon and Northern California as well. Special weather statements continue for Alaska, and also the coastal flood statements also still continue for the Hawaiian Chain Island, and also gale warnings for the south and central areas of the Hawaiian Chain Island as well, for gale warnings off the coastal areas. Alright, Storm Prediction Center time. Alright, as you can see here, we got general thunderstorms for Maine all the way down to West Virginia, all the way back to Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, back to Montana, all the way back over to Oregon and Nevada, back to portions of Arizona, and also into New Mexico, Texas, all the way back to the Florida Keys, also into the Carolinas, all the way back into portions of Missouri and Nebraska there as well. We got a marginal risk up here in portions of the northeastern United States with a slight risk over portions of New York State. A marginal risk also down there in portions of Georgia, all the way into portions of South Dakota. Slight risk down here in portions of Georgia, back into Tennessee and Alabama. We have a slight risk over here in portions of Kansas, also Nebraska, and enhanced risk there as well. Alright, if you live in the enhanced risk, it's just pretty much called Hays, Kansas, and surrounding areas. That's the area there for enhanced. Slight risk, Huntsville, Alabama, Detour, Alabama, Salina, Kansas, Manhattan, Kansas, Hutchinson, Kansas. That's a slight risk area. And also if you live in Memphis, Tennessee, Denver, Colorado, Kansas City, Missouri, Atlanta, Georgia, Colorado Springs, Colorado, marginal risk for severe weather this afternoon. Tornado probability, 2% pretty much down here in Georgia, out back to Tennessee, and a little bit up in New York State. If you live in Huntsville, Alabama, Decatur, Alabama, Madison, Alabama, Gadsden, Alabama, Florence, Alabama, 2% risk for a tornado. Damaging winds this afternoon, 5% in the brown, 15% in the yellow. We got 30% here in the portion of Kansas and Nebraska and Colorado. Alright, if you live in the significant area for damaging winds in the 30% area, this includes Hays, Kansas. Also, if you live in the 15% risk, this includes Huntersville, Alabama, Decatur, Alabama, Salina, Kansas, Manhattan, Kansas, Hutchinson, Kansas. And if you live in the 5% risk, this includes Memphis, Tennessee, Denver, Colorado, Kansas City, Missouri, Atlanta, Georgia, Colorado Springs, Colorado for damaging winds. Let's take a look at the hail probability. 5% in brown, 15% in the yellow. If you live in Scottsbluff, Nebraska, Sterling, Colorado, Fort Morgan, Colorado, Lamar, Colorado, Torrington, Wyoming, 15% risk. If you live in Denver, Colorado, Kansas City, Missouri, Aurora, Colorado, Kansas City, Missouri, Aurora, Colorado, Buffalo, New York, Rochester, New York, 5% risk for large hail this afternoon. All right, let's move on to day number 2. Alright, we got a marginal risk from portions of the northeast United States down into Pennsylvania. Also again down here in Georgia, Florida, back to Kansas, Nebraska, and portion of Wyoming. General thunderstorms elsewhere, extending from Maine to the Florida Keys, back to Louisiana, back into portion of New Mexico, back to California, Nevada, and Oregon, up to Montana and the Dakotas as well. Excuse me. All right, slight risk. This includes Albany, New York, Scranton, Pennsylvania, Cincinnati, New York, Cincinnati, New York, Uty, New York, and Troy, New York. Marginal risk includes Jacksonville, Florida, Memphis, Tennessee, Kansas City, Missouri, Omaha, Nebraska, Lincoln, Nebraska. All right, the tornado probability for your Friday is less than 2% all areas. Winds, 5% to brown, 15% to yellow. Same areas, 15%, including Albany, New York, all the way to Troy, New York, and surrounding areas. If you live in Jacksonville, Florida, to Lincoln, Nebraska, and surrounding areas, 5% risk for damaging winds. The hail probability, 5% brown, 15% in the yellow. If you live in Albany, New York, all the way to Troy, New York, surrounding areas, 15% risk. If you live in Springfield, Massachusetts, all the way to Chicopee, Massachusetts, and surrounding areas, that is 5% risk for large hail. All right, let's move on to day number 3. Okay, we still got general thunderstorms for portion of Maine, then back down here to the Carolinas, through Florida, to the Florida Keys, to the Panhandle, to Texas, all the way back over to Oregon and Washington State, back into Montana, all the way back over to portions of Minnesota and Wisconsin. With slight risk of severe weather reporting to Arkansas, back into Minnesota, all the way back to portion of Colorado, slight risk there in the yellow. If you live in the slight risk area, this includes Kansas City, Missouri, Omaha, Nebraska, Wichita, Kansas, Lincoln, Nebraska, Des Moines, Iowa. And if you live in the marginal risk, this includes Tuscaloosa, Oklahoma, St. Louis, Missouri, Springfield, Missouri, Sioux Falls, South Dakota, Cedar Rapids, Iowa. All right, the probability, 5% in brown, 15% in yellow. If you live in the 15% area, this includes Kansas City, Missouri, all the way to Des Moines, Iowa, surrounding areas. If you live in the 5% area, this includes Tuscaloosa, Oklahoma, all the way to Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and surrounding areas. All right, now we're going to take a look at day number 4. This is the 15% risk area. This is where the severe weather will occur, and the marginal risk will be around the system as well, coming up on Monday. But if you live in Chicago, Illinois, Indianapolis, Indiana, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, St. Louis, Missouri, Toledo, Ohio, 15% risk for severe weather on day number 4. This would be Sunday. All right. Now let's move on to day 5, because we got some more severe weather to talk about. This will be your Monday. We got a 15% risk area extending from portions of Kentucky all the way into New York State and through West Virginia, Pennsylvania, portion of Virginia, and Ohio for day number 5. Like I say, this will be Monday. I do expect the marginal risk to be outlined around this system, and it may come as far south as the Carolinas and northern Georgia for a slight risk area. Could even be Florida included. But if you're in the 15% area, this includes Detroit, Michigan, Columbus, Ohio, Baltimore, Maryland, Washington, D.C., and Cleveland, Ohio. All right. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed this video. I hope everybody continue to stay safe and well. Also enjoy the weather, because it's the only weather you got. Like these videos, share these videos. Consider subscribing if you have not. And we'll catch you back in the next one. And have a great Thursday afternoon, folks. And take care.